This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Before we check back in on the text board at 609-403-0973 and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. As promised, joining me on the phone line, it's former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Dave Klemic. He's also the owner of Klemic Performance Method, and he was the only person I heard this weekend who picked the Eagles to win in a blowout. So, Dave, I appreciate you jumping on. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, and I'm really feeling good about my score. And because I'm so bad at fantasy football, I feel great that I finally picked one right in a real game.
Well, with that being said, let's dig into the nuts and bolts of it, because you said on Sunday when I was sitting with you on the locker room with Billy Schwein, it was you, me, and Billy on set, and the comment that you made to us was you said, as someone who used to play, you said, I can see when a team is ascending. So why did you see this Eagles offense growing and ascending as they have?
Okay, so I'm glad that you listened to me on that one, and I was very specific. I said, guys, you don't know this one. I know this one. You're smarter than me. Josh, probably the smartest person I've ever met in my life. And then, everybody else is a little bit more, they're probably better acumen about any sport. However, I know this, and I know momentum, and I know when a team is ascending. Okay, now this is why. And you saw it happen in the game. When you start to become so happy to be out there together that you become selfless, right? The proof in that was when Saquon Barkley had a couple great runs on the end of a drive towards the end of the game, and then they did a tush push. Jalen Hurts nails it and took the ball and handed it to Saquon Barkley so he could spike it. And that's what I'm talking about. The guys are having fun being selfless. So now they're not worried about themselves. They're not just worried about just doing their job. They're worried about hooking their boys up, and they're being cohesive where they wanted to be from the start. Because when they were out and they didn't have each other in the beginning, you didn't have that whole, these guys are probably doing skips and cartwheels together, preseason, and they're getting all happy. They're going to be the greatest thing ever. And then they get hurt and there's setbacks. Then they get together on the field. I could see the momentum building. I was in that locker room when we had Eddie Kennison and Johnny Morton together with Tony Gonzalez and Priest Holmes. And then we had Dante Hall and the special teams. And I could start to see that same build after we started getting together and becoming cohesive. And it wasn't about me anymore. It was about you. Let me hook you up. Let me get you. I'm good. I'm taken care of. Let me get you. And they started playing like that. And now you can see it happening. And I picked 30. I either picked 31 or 34 points.
You had 34. You picked 34.
34. Right. So that was way higher than even like Scott Grayson, who picked at 21-17. And he's pretty good. He's been in the locker room and everything like that. But this is the one area that I know really well is momentum. And when guys get together in a cohesive manner like that, man, it's going to be hard. And now from here on out, it's going to be really hard to stop them. So I think we're going to see this trend keep happening with high scores, guys having fun. You're getting swaggy, just kind of like how the Chiefs do. When they start having fun, forget about it. You can't stop them. And this is what's happening to the Eagles right now.
But, Dave, the big difference, you just mentioned the Chiefs. The big difference between the Eagles and the Chiefs is that Jalen Hurts has gone through 3 straight games now with no turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions than touchdowns this year. So, over the years, if you came into a football season, you would say, Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league, right? Well, guys like him, they are still turning the ball over, and we're at the end of October. So when you see a quarterback, you mentioned about, playing with your boys, out there having fun. That's all great, but it's even more so when the guy running the offense has gotten to a point where he is no longer becoming a guy that you have to worry about turning the ball over.
Yeah, that was, if you look at how many times Jalen Hurts have had to pass the ball, it was down to 14 times last game. It wasn't a lot. He wasn't throwing very much. He was taking it play by play, using his legs when he had to, not overthinking anything, and just looking like he's like, all right, let's set this thing up. one play at a time. We got weapons everywhere. What am I worried about? Now, at the time when A.J. Brown was hurt, and then like I call A.J. Brown, I call him his sword, and his shield is hurt. It's saying Lane Johnson's out. So he's got his sword and his shield out. And now he's got to try to think too much. It just helps him calm down when he's got two really reliable people, one that protects his backside and then one that has all his, his choice routes and all his inside breaking routes where, you can make a lot of money on those. So now you got it all of them back together. Gosh, this is going to be really fun. And they're going to go on a run here. We're going to see, in my opinion, you'll see, unless something crazy happens to the defense or whatever we're looking at, they're going to score a lot of points for the next 3-4 games. So my opinion, but I was right this time, right? Well, I was pretty happy about that.
We're talking with Dave Klemic, former NFL wide receiver, Mainland Regional High School graduate, and of course, he's the owner of Klemic Performance Method. Joining me here, Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Couple more before I let you go, Dave. When you look ahead for the Eagles, this is an offense that's starting to look like the way they did in 2022. Maybe not literally because some of the pieces are different, right? So for you, when you hear guys like, the Dan Orlovskis of the world and all these other guys saying that Jalen Hurts is starting to look like the 2022 version and this offense is starting to look like that version of the offense, what does that mean to you?
Well, I'm on board with that because he's got that rolling confidence right now. It's fun. They're having fun. And when people are having fun, like I can tell you this, when I was a rookie or even like a freshman in college, all I wanted to do was not mess up, right? let me get my assignment, my alignment correct before I make a play. Then I'll run my route, catch the ball. Hopefully I catch the ball, secure it. I wasn't even thinking about making a play. Sophomore year rolls around. I started to have a couple catches. I get some confidence in me. Now I want the ball and I want to make a play. And then it goes into, now I want to make the ball. I want to score all the time and I'm having fun doing it. I'm getting up. I'm pointing at the end zone, doing the first down signal. I'm having some fun, flicking the ball back and forth. This is what they're at right now. They're at the point where they're having fun and he secured the ball. So he's got not a lot of pressure on him right now where everybody's, coming down on him for the turnovers and rightfully so. But now they're having fun and they're going to make plays. They're not like that Devontae Smith play. What an unbelievable catch he had in the back of the end zone. That was a contested catch too. But Jalen has the confidence. He goes, I know he's going to win that battle. I'm just going to put it up there for him. And he won. And that's just like, those guys are going to make plays. If you just put it in play for them, they will. And they're at that level right now where they're having fun. It's really hard to stop a team that's having fun, and you're witnessing it now.
It's funny you said that because I was listening to Mike Mayock talk about this, and Mayock was saying that, when a quarterback believes in his receivers and the receivers believe in the quarterback, that's why those catches like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith happen. It sounds like that's kind of what you're saying, Dave, that it's the confidence and the trust in each other to make those plays.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll give you like a case in point. I played with Trent Green and Tony Gonzalez, and he would put the ball up almost like an alley-oop towards the goalpost. And he would say he'd put it on the right side or the left side of the goalpost, and he's just going to alley-oop it. And didn't matter where he was. He just knew that Tony was bigger, stronger, and more, will come down with that ball. And he would throw a no-look pass, or he would kind of just toss one up there. He knew they would come down with it. So they just had this, I just know he's going to get it. And this is how they feel. I know if I throw a contested ball up there, I know my guys are going to make a play, and they have been. And they're just, instead of, they have to be wide open on a play that was scripted exactly the way. But no, they don't have to. He can have a broken play, throw one up, and they're gonna have fun trying to pull one down and do what Jalen Hurts did in the end zone and hand the ball off. It makes some great blocks. Run your route away from the ball. If you're not getting the ball, you run your route a little harder, a little bit more crisp, so it can break another guy open. And that's how it goes once you're having fun and you're witnessing it. And that's why I picked such a high score this week, because of how they handled the Giants and the Jets. And the Bengals was just like, it was just the next step in the progression.
All right, before I let you go, because I got to know, Dave. So Dallas Goedert, he has not played since the Cleveland game. It was the Cleveland game a couple weeks ago that he got injured. He injured his hamstring. The Eagles told us, Sirianni keeps putting out this rhetoric that, he's working hard. He's going to come back any week. We don't want to put a timetable on him. But this is now the third straight week, Dave, that Goddard has not practiced. I'm not talking about playing. I'm talking about practicing because of this hamstring issue.
Not practice?
Not even practicing, right? So how concerned are you that maybe this is a longer-term hamstring injury for a guy who, let's be realistic, he's not the fastest guy in the world anyway. So it's not like he needs to be on the field to run a 4.2 or something. So are you concerned that the Eagles tight end, who has now missed 3 straight weeks of practice with a hamstring issue, has not practiced yet?
Well, take it from somebody who's had a litany of hamstring issues. They are 2 to 3 weeks during the middle of the season. It just depends what grade it is. They're like 1, 2, or 3. You can get and pick a portion of your hamstring. You have your semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and biceps femoris. Most guys are gonna pull that biceps femoris, and that's like 2 to 3 weeks. And then you come back and you're kind of tender while you're doing it. Calcaterra looks so good right now that I'm not even sweating it. He looks great. But Dallas Goedert has turned himself into I would say a top 5 tight end in the league. Definitely missed, and he's definitely like one of those guys that, it's great you can depend on him, and he's just one of the most dependable tight ends in the league right now. But Calcaterra is doing his thing right now. He's filling that role very well, and that's how Dallas Goedert got his job too. If you remember, playing behind Zach Ertz, and really, when he stepped in, he just made the best of his opportunities, and that's what you're seeing Calcaterra do right now. And we hope he just develops into the next, Dallas Goedert now, or as the Negadelphian would say, Godart.
Well, listen, my conspiracy theory, Dave, is that because Goddard and Slayer haven't practiced yet this week, that the Eagles may be saying, look, we could beat Jacksonville without you guys, okay? We need you for Dallas. Like that kind of, I'm not saying that they're literally saying that, but, do NFL teams think like that, where they say, look, we don't need you as much for this upcoming game, but we need you more for the next game?
Yeah, I think they did a good job letting A.J. Brown sit out, let everything heal up, not get him back in early, and just let this thing heal. And when he comes back, they're thinking long-term now. Now they're looking like a playoff, they're looking like their playoffs. They're looking like their Super Bowl self right now. I hate to jump forward too much, but that's how we felt about their games. They were dominant. They were having dominant wins. They're not, it's not a last minute miracle. And then we're biting our nails the whole time. That we just felt dominant, the last 3 weeks. So yeah, what's weird is like Jordan Mailata hurting his hamstring. That's like a really a weird one for an offensive lineman. And especially like you could play with a pulled hamstring at the offensive line, because normally you're in like a retreat. You're not really using the hamstring to recover so much as you're just, but eccentrically you have to load the leg up a little bit. But I would think the hamstring would be okay on an offensive lineman. You can't do it as a receiver. You got to sit out. Tight ends, you could block a little bit. But again, yes, I totally believe he should just sit this out, think long term. You can play. We can play right through Jacksonville. And I'd love to have him back for Dallas because I want to really put it on. I really want to put it on Dallas.
He is Dave Klemic. He is the owner of Klemic Performance Method in Egg Harbor Township. He is also former NFL wide receiver, Mainalnd Regional High School graduate, and he joined us here on 97.3 ESPN. My friend, appreciate you jumping on. You can go back to the family now.
All right, bro. I'll see you Saturday.